If you ask any pro who the best player in the game is right now, they all say the same thing: Peterbot. His mechanics are crazy, but the hardest part about fighting him is his knowledge of the meta. Peterbot this season took Nitro and Fizz to a whole nother level. In this fight right here, he starts with proper positioning and baits the opponent to open up an edit. Leaving both walls exposed, Peter is hoping that this player opens up one of the walls as they are fully built and will take time to break. After the second hit, he builds around himself and then immediately goes back to hitting the wall. Notice the inconsistent and unpredictable timing of his pickaxe swings. He finally breaks the wall, then hits a huge shot. Peter then tries to take the second wall once, but quickly exits the box after the enemy retreats. He immediately identifies the opponent's box and places cones above and below. As he drops down onto the wall, he pickaxes once. This weakens the freshly built wall. Peterbot then uses Nitro and runs straight into the box and finishes the kill. Because Nitro causes 90 structure damage, you can pickaxe new builds and run right through them with Nitro. This isn't the only Nitro combination that Peterbot uses to close out fights quickly. Here, he is chasing down a player. He is able to get a couple tags to force the opponent to box up. Instead of directly attacking the wall of the box the player's in, he chooses this one. This is another great use of the Nitro Bash. Not only will Nitro break the build that's in front of you, but it will also damage connecting walls as well. You just need to make sure you run into the right spot. That is why you will always see Peterbot Nitro Bash straight into the corner of builds or where two walls meet. Peter knows that this player just made an edit and then reset the build in between the boxes, so it's going to be weak. He shoots one burst of the SMG into the first wall to get it below 90 HP and then sprints right through. This damages all three walls: the one he runs into, the one in the box, and the one to his right. As he enters the box, Peter then places a cone to control space. He pokeballs the opponent and hits an easy shot to finish the fight. It's not just Nitro that wins in fights. Peter doesn't have to use his mechanics if he doesn't have to. The opponent here is trying to endlessly build up to avoid fighting Peterbot. He starts the fight by breaking everything besides this one ramp. The opponent goes up and keeps going up. Peter sees this and goes for a chop on this mid-level. His internal timers tell him that he's taking too long, so he pauses for a moment and protects himself. The best pros know that you can only chop out builds for a few seconds before you get punished. Then he drops all the way down to lower ground to break the ramp that we pointed out earlier. This resets the entire fight, and even though Peterbot takes a little bit of damage, it isn't significant. Okay, this is the Peterbot classic. He trades a shot with this player, but avoids any follow-up damage because of his placement on the ramp. He stands far enough up to phase the floor if the opponent tries to build it. At the same time, it allows him to retreat down and build the floor himself if the opponent trades a shot. Now Peterbot recognizes that they're getting third-partied. He smartly turns this into his advantage. Peterbot then jumps to the inside and puts his opponent between him and the third party. This is one of the tips that I broke down in my 20 fighting tips video. This is going to cause a lot of stress to the middle player, as now you have to protect multiple angles. Between fighting Peterbot and the third party, the player runs low on builds. While they're still getting sprayed, Peterbot closes the fight out with an SMG spray into a Nitro Bash to get into the box. It is not just purely fighting that allows Peterbot to run through these lobbies. His map movement is beyond optimized. This season, it is Nitro tunnels that are spread through the map. Peterbot stays in the middle of the map with the most tunnels to ensure that he can move quickly from player to player. When you combine the tunnels with Fizz, you're able to fly around the entire map by bunny hopping to keep your momentum. He can cover a ton of ground and surprise his opponents who don't see or hear him coming. Not only does this allow him to get more kills, but also start more fights with damage on his opponents. Dealing damage first is a key indicator of who wins the engagement. This fight right here stood out to me the most when watching Peterbot. Peterbot just unlocked a new mechanic for himself that we all have to deal with. This is a beautiful combination of crosshair placement, timing, reading a player, and fundamentals. As always, he starts the fight with damage. Truly the hardest part about fighting Peterbot is that he is the one in control. The initial tags cause the player to retreat. Because the opponent is running, he leaves himself vulnerable to a pump from behind. Now Peterbot has a huge health advantage. This has gone exactly as you would draw it up. He then chases down the opponent, who finally decides to stand and fight. Peter places down cones to give himself protection if needed. Then he reads the opponent moving into the left box. Peter sprays the right wall and nitros in. As he enters the box, he throws down cones and builds the back wall plus the wall in front of the opponent. This requires perfect crosshair placement and timing. Peter now controls both boxes, and then the second wall blocks the opponent's shot. Any edit and decent shotgun shot will end this fight, and he does exactly that to close this one out. This is one of the more impressive moves that I've seen from Peterbot. Being able to have perfect crosshair control to get those pieces down while still maintaining decent tracking on the player to close the fight is amazing to watch. Peterbot is a phenomenal player, the best there is at the moment. While it might be intimidating to watch him, putting the focus on his mechanics, he's also done a ton of meta-based moves that anybody can do. Regardless of the season, you can look at top players and find aspects of their game that you can use in yours. Let me know if you like this style of video in the comments below and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.